Are you an Enneagram Type 1, or do you know someone that is? Are you under stress and want to experience health and growth? Hey, what's up? This is Evan from EnneagramGift.com, and today we're going to talk about an Enneagram Type 1 and stress. Enneagram Type 1s are commonly known as the perfectionist, and more recently, and I actually like this better too, referred to by Ian Cron as the improver. Understanding Type 1s at first can be a little intimidating. While this type may seemingly be holding it all together, under the surface, Enneagram 1s can be brimming with unresolved expectations and desires. Enneagram 1s care deeply about quality and the pursuit of improving standards in an effort to accelerate purpose and goodness within the world. The Enneagram 1 stress and growth lines are connected to the Type 4 and 7. Depending on the situations around them, what they're experiencing, and their own level of self-awareness, they will begin to take on the traits of these types. During times of stress, Enneagram 1s will take on the negative or unhealthy sides of the Enneagram 4. This attribute can cause them to begin resenting others around them who are having fun. They will also become more sensitive to critiques about them, especially if those critiques are negative or difficult to hear. They will become more critical and judgmental of themselves and of those around them. During times of stress, Enneagram 1s will become their worst critic. Further, Enneagram 1s will experience stress if the environment that they're in is negative, there is an inability to see how things can improve or get better, or if leaders or significant others begin to ignore their feedback and ideas. They also do not appreciate the label of being a perfectionist and will become sensitive to being labeled as critical for paying attention to detail. Stress will also begin to be elevated for a 1 if those around them are making decisions that they deem inappropriate. Enneagram 1s in general struggle with things like anger, accepting mistakes, condemning thoughts, and experiencing disagreements. For an Enneagram 1, it's important that they're aware of their weaknesses and potential pitfalls that they can fall into. The common weaknesses of an Enneagram 1 can be things like they become obsessive. 1s can become so invested in what they think is right that they may not be able to be happy until they meet that expectation. They can also become unrealistic. If what they consider ideal is in sharp contrast with reality, they may develop a skewed perspective in order to cope with this contrast. 1s can also become overly critical when highly stressed. This means that they will hyper-focus on their own flaws and the flaws that they see within others. Lastly, 1s can become a bit self-righteous. By digging their heels into their own ideas so deeply, they may label an outside belief or perspective as inherently wrong without even attempting to understand. In addition to these characteristics, there are other ways to identify an Enneagram 1 in stress. Again, 1s will uncompromisingly work with laser focus, strictly adhering to an ideal that they believe is best and right. This can lead to a strong sense of anger that begins to brood within them as their unmet expectations begin to surface, and when their efforts to improve just simply aren't enough. This strong sense of desire for integrity, coupled with unresolved frustration, can be very troubling to them. Not to mention, because an Enneagram 1 sees anger as an undesirable trait that they try to reject, this increases the turmoil that they have to process internally. 1s can also become self-absorbed, intensely moody, and even self-destructive when things go wrong or progress seems to come to a dead end. Even further, Enneagram 1s in stress can become plagued by self-doubt, low self-esteem, and excessive self-criticism. In some cases, this means they become unproductive, lose interest and hope in their usual creative outlets and even in their work, get lost in their head when they fall short of an idealized hope or desire, lose touch with their own identity and with what they consider valuable, withdraw from others, and lash out or blame others when things go wrong. Remember, the core desire of an Enneagram 1 is to have integrity, to be full of virtue, and to be correct. The core fear of an Enneagram 1 is that they would never be good enough. The core desires and fears of a 1 help them to create order and be very effective at what they do. However, when lacking awareness, it can result in an unhealthy obsession with driving and pushing towards perfection. The good news is Enneagram 1s can move towards health when they recognize and understand they're in a place of stress. For a 1, they must begin to develop the belief that they are good regardless of their performance or even their ability to improve things around them. 1s must learn to relax and to settle into a graceful disposition towards themselves and others. To create this space and to do this, you can begin to write down your thoughts, listen to music, or go for a walk to decompress. Healthy Enneagram 1s are aware of their tendency to be rigid and seek to practice empathy when they're communicating with others and even themselves. And to avoid being blinded by their own ambitions, they can seek to understand the greater purpose and good of the group and of those around them. Ones can learn to hold space for competing ideas and differing opinions without being overly harsh or critical. They can relax, understanding that they can disagree without judging or being demanding. Ones can approach life with reason, avoiding obsessive characteristics. They can hold both to a strong passion for improvement and onto the ability to step back, take a break when necessary. For ones, learning to give themselves and others grace is a significant step towards moving from stress and into a place of health. Hey, if this video helped you, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and let me know in the comments which characteristics you relate to the most when you're under stress. Hey, this is Evan from EnneagramGift.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.